Hey, what's up you guys, it's me Luke and welcome back to another video, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I post commentary and critique and reaction videos on basically anything on the internet that interests me. So if any of that interests you, then be sure to go ahead and subscribe and turn on the post notifications bell so that you never miss another upload from me. Alrighty guys, so in today's video we're finally getting into something that I've been wanting to speak about for ages, and that is why I believe that TikTok is extremely toxic and a dangerous platform for teenagers. Well, for everyone, but mainly teenagers. We have a lot to get into today because I've only ever spoken about TikTok on my channel in a comedic way, but today's video is going to be a lot more serious because there are a lot of problems with the platform that I believe need to be addressed, and there are a few people talking about them, and I do want to get possibly in the future more in depth into all of these different issues. But for today's video we're just going to do like a basic overview of some of the main problems with the platform. If there's anything that I don't mention in this video or something you want me to elaborate on more in the future, then be sure to go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it. Before we get into today's video, I also wanted to say, if you have not already, please make sure you are subscribed to my second channel because I've uploaded 2 new videos over there, and I plan on uploading there a lot more, especially now during quarantine. So yeah, that link is just in the description. But anyway guys, enough of that intro, let's get into it because I'm about to dive in to the mess that is TikTok. Alrighty guys, so we have a lot of things to discuss, from racism to body image problems to the sexualization of teenagers and predators and the exploitation of children, and just a lot. There's a lot to discuss. So guys, before we get into it, I just want to say that I'm not going to be including any clips in this video because that would completely defeat the entire point that I'm trying to make, because a lot of these people in the TikToks are underage, and I don't want to have underage people on my channel doing these sexual racist things because I don't want to have that on my channel. I don't want to promote that. I don't want to promote them. I don't want to show it off. So everything that I'm saying, unfortunately, I'm not going to be including clips of, but I will explain it to you. I will say it in detail. Even if you're someone who is not an avid TikToker, you will still be able to understand this point of this video. And yeah, this video is just going to be a rant. I just have a lot to say that I want to get off of my chest about this platform. But before we get really deep into the nitty-gritty of it all, let's just have a brief explanation for TikTok for anybody that isn't really familiar with the platform. So TikTok was in fact the most downloaded app in 2019. It is kind of like a new and improved version of Vine because you can have longer form content over there, and the way that the platform is designed, you can spend hours and hours on it because the way that it works is you can follow people, but nobody actually scrolls through their feed of their followers. You scroll through what is called your For You page. And unlike other platforms like say Twitter or Instagram where it refreshes, this does not. It completely just keeps going non-stop scrolling. You never hit the bottom of anything. It just keeps on going because it's not relied on the people that you follow. It just shows you stuff from all over the world based on what you like. And unlike other platforms like YouTube, you don't have to click on videos. It just plays automatically. And then another thing is when you are on your For You page, it doesn't actually show you the time on your phone like other apps. It completely takes over your entire screen. So you don't even realize how much time is going by. It doesn't show you how long the videos are. The whole reason that I say this is because the way that this app is designed, it is designed to be extremely addictive. And social media is already addictive, but TikTok takes it to another level. And that's not really the point of this video. I just thought it was worth mentioning because the way that the app works is very important to everything else that I'm going to be saying in this video, because a lot of the problems that I have and a lot of the toxic things that are on the platform are on other social media platforms. I just believe that the way that the TikTok interface is designed makes it a lot more magnified and makes the issue a lot bigger than it is on other platforms. Something else to mention about TikTok is it is actually an app owned by China and the Chinese government, who is a communist government. This is nothing against Chinese people. I'm just saying we all know that the Chinese government is a shady government. I mean, look at the state that the world is in right now. I'm just saying that. And also there was some information that was brought out last year about how they can take a lot of your data. Like they have access to like so many of your things off of your phone, like your location, what your search history. Basically they have access to things when you're not even on the app. So it's kind of scary. It's a little bit frightening. That being said, I am on the platform. If you'd like to follow me, it's just at the Luke Alexander. What can I say? Okay, I gave into the hype and I needed to be on the platform for research purposes. No, I'm kidding. So I was so against TikTok for the longest time, and then I finally downloaded it in January of this year, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing because it is really funny, but I also kind of wish I'd never downloaded it because I wasted so much of my life on that app, and it just also caused a lot of problems within me, which we will get into later on in this video. But I downloaded the app, and the way that it works when you first download it is it's kind of weird. You don't really know what's going on, but then after you like a few things, it customizes the For You page to be what you like. So that's another reason I think the app is so addicting, is because its algorithm is so smart that when you are scrolling, more often than not, you are going to enjoy 90% of the videos you watch. So that is why people can spend hours and hours and hours on the app, okay? It's very important that we understand what makes this app different from other apps, okay? And that is why I'm explaining in detail the way that it works, because it's very relevant to all of the issues we're going to get into. So let's get into my first issue with the app. So like I said, majority of people will just scroll through their For You page, not through their follower page. Now, when you're on other social media platforms like Twitter Twitter. On Twitter, you can see people you're not following, but for the most part, you're only going to see the people you're following and what they're liking. Instagram, when you are scrolling through your feed, you will only see people that you follow, unless you go to the browse feature, which most people don't. And then on YouTube, same thing. You'll go to your subscriptions, you'll get your recommendations. Occasionally, you will click it. So you, to a certain extent, with those social media platforms, get to curate what you see. That is why on my social media platforms, on Instagram, for example, do not follow attractive men because I don't want to feel like shit about myself. Little stuff like that. You know what I mean? You don't follow accounts that are going to trigger you in any sort of way. With TikTok, you can't really do that because, like I said, unless you were to strictly go on your follower page, which nobody does, everybody's just on the For You page, you could get exposed to literally anything on the app. Of course, the app has its guidelines like other apps, but we all know how fishy the guidelines of social media platforms are, okay? Just take a look at YouTube and the mess that they put us through. I'm kidding. Love you, Susan. Don't demonetize me. I have to pay my rent, okay? Anyway, the reason I say this is because we are exposed on our For You page to lots of people that we would not otherwise be exposed to on other apps. And this has its pros and its cons. Let's start with the pros because I guess, you know, you want to hear the good news before the bad. So TikTok, unlike other platforms, it's extremely easy to blow up and gain popularity on the app. We've seen this with many people who, to be quite frank, will do the bare minimum and get lots of likes, lots of views. Even with me on my TikTok page, I've uploaded quite a few videos. I've stopped now because I've realized it's not really a platform that I want to be putting out content on. But when I did, I even had a couple of TikToks go viral that I really did not put that much effort into. It's pretty easy to get a couple viral TikToks and gain some popularity. Obviously, there are some things that contribute to certain people, like, you know, pretty privilege and white privilege and all that type of stuff, which we will get into. But the reason I bring this up is because it's the easiest platform to gain notoriety and popularity on. Unlike YouTube, which take it from somebody who spent a year uploading twice a week and got pretty much no recognition, YouTube is extremely difficult to grow on. Twitter has the smallest amount of users, unlike all the other platforms. And Instagram is just based on aesthetics, and they've got their whole non-chronological timeline, which is such a mess. Basically, what I'm trying to say is it's super easy to grow on this, okay? And a lot of teenagers have flocked to TikTok for that reason. A lot of teenagers who were never necessarily trying to grow on YouTube or Instagram or Twitter are all of a sudden wanting to grow on TikTok and become famous TikTokers. And if your account is on private, then your TikToks cannot go on the For You page. So majority of people on TikTok will have public accounts. So the reason I say this is so that we can circle it back to the For You page. Everything comes back to that motherfucking For You page, okay? Hashtag FYP. So what I'm trying to say is, unlike other platforms where we curate who we follow, who some people have private accounts, who you're only exposed to a certain group of people, TikTok, you cannot be exposed to anyone, which, like I said, is a good thing if you want to grow and become popular, but it's also a bad thing because anybody can see your content. By anybody, I mean predators, okay? Now, I don't like to be pessimistic, but you know, these are the type of things we have to think about when we are on social media. And TikTok doesn't really seem to be doing anything about this because I guess it would be difficult to police, but there are a lot of teenagers on the app who do a lot of provocative things. And I, for example, don't follow teenagers to watch them do provocative things, but even I'll just be going through my For You page and there'll be teenagers doing provocative things. And I'm like, okay, whatever, I just scroll past it. But a lot of the times I think to myself, this would be so easy for a predator to just follow all of these TikTokers doing all these things. They could make a catfish account pretending to be another teenager. They could DM them. They could do this, that, and the third. Basically, the exposure on TikTok just makes me very concerned. And what makes me even more concerned is the type of content that people are producing on TikTok. Now, if you're not on TikTok, you might not know exactly what I mean, but TikTok has gotten to the point where a lot of the times people post stuff on there that they would never post anywhere else. People post a lot of provocative content, a lot of sexual content, a lot of personal content, a lot of shock value content. And they do this for clout. It all circles back to getting clout and TikTok followers and views. It just seems like such an empty thing because it's like, what exactly do TikTok followers translate to? Unless you're getting millions of followers, if you're just getting a couple of 100,000, we've seen that that doesn't make you money. It doesn't migrate to your other platforms. So I don't personally understand the appeal. I guess maybe it's just because it's the it app and TikTokers and teenagers want to be popular TikTokers. But the things that they do to try and get to that point is where I have a problem. So I'm not going to sit here and pull a Perez Hilton and talk about teenagers dancing in crop tops and bikinis. We've heard this, we've been there. We know that teenagers are doing these sexual and provocative dances on the platform, whatever. A lot of these teenagers aren't doing it for 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds to watch. They're doing it for other teenagers to watch. But like I said, because of the exposure of the app, anyone can watch it, any creep can watch it. But where I have the issue is the oversharing. It's really difficult for me to describe without showing you clips, but basically a lot of TikTokers talk about really personal things that they would never talk about on other platforms, like their sex life, masturbation, watching this, doing this, doing this. They just overshare on the platform a lot. And in the beginning, I thought it was funny, like people making jokes about their privates and stuff like that. But then I kind of got to the point where I was just like, wait a damn minute. These people are underage joking about their cooter and their tutors. Something ain't right here, something ain't adding up. And that's when I realized that this isn't normal. People don't do this, well, teenagers, from what I've seen, especially when I was a teenager, even though I literally turned 20 in January, so it wasn't that long ago, but when I was like 14, 15, 16, teenagers weren't doing this. And like, maybe it's a good thing, like normalizing all these things, I guess, but like, to me, I don't really think it is, because they're oversharing so much on a platform, and I feel like teenagers have forgotten that what you put online stays online forever. Do they not give that conversation in school anymore? Because they gave the conversation to us about how your employers could search you up online and see what you're doing and this, that, and the third. And a lot of these teenagers don't seem to be operating under that same mindset based on the stuff that they're posting. Oh God, this one really gets me. Okay, there is a trend of teenage boys on TikTok who will dance in sweatpants, usually, or some loose fit pant. And you cannot tell me that they're wearing underwear, because I know how that shit works, okay? Unless their underwear is ridiculously loose, they are not wearing underwear. And then they're posting themselves doing dances in these pants with their literal dick print on full display, flopping around, shaking around, doing its little thing in their pants. It's beyond disgusting. And then you got all these girls in the comments like, oh my God, it's staring at me first. Oh my God, it's so big. Like, I'm so thirsty. It is so beyond disgusting. Even if you weren't underage, it'd be disgusting. But the fact that you are underage is what's making it very concerning, because I think you're gonna regret this in a couple of years. And there's also predators that could be watching this, okay? It's very disturbing to me. Before, when people were like, you know, showing off their butts and like, you know, putting their pants up their butts to like show off their cake, that was one thing. But showing off your literal dick print, see, y'all crossed the line here. We went a little bit too far. Okay. So yeah, basically I would say that one of the biggest ways that people grow on TikTok or get viral TikToks is through shock value. And like I said, a lot of that shock value is through sexual provocative content and through oversharing. People just share way too much about themselves. They get too personal. People are too comfortable on this app. But another way that people get viral TikToks through shock value is through offensive TikToks or dark humor. I wouldn't even call it dark humor, because we've gotten to the point now where it's just blatant racism at this point. So people make a lot of different dark jokes on the platform, and a lot of them don't really bother me. But now all of a sudden people have decided that being racist is funny. There's this trend on TikTok where you try and draw in a certain group of people. So for example, I remember seeing this one where it was like, for all my people who like fried chicken and watermelon, which is obviously a stereotype of black people. And then it'll be like, okay, now that all my black people are here, how's my form? And then they'll be pretending to be in a cotton farm being a slave. Horrible, right? Or there'll be another one of like someone saying just something racist about being Chinese, and then they'll be like, how's my form? And they'll be like shoving their dog in the oven. Yeah, so I don't find any of that funny. It's just racist. It's just racist. What concerns me more are the people in the comments. Some of them will be like, oh my God, but then some of them will be like, oh my God, why did I laugh? Like, like there's people condoning their behavior. This is disgusting, okay? And see, this is the peak. This is where the shock value has gotten to a point where it has gone beyond TikTok. This went viral on Twitter, and a couple of the people who made these racist TikToks, it went into their actual life. So there was this one girl who made a racist TikTok, and somebody sent it to her school, and then she lost her college approval. So she was approved to a college, and that has been revoked because of a racist TikTok. And now she's going on about like, you guys ruined my life. I didn't mean for it to get this big. I didn't know it was gonna blah, 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 blah. Sis, you did this to yourself. I don't feel sympathy. I don't feel sorry. Yes, they may be underage and their frontal cortex isn't fully developed, but when I was 16, I knew not to be racist. I'm sorry, you did what you did. When are you gonna learn that your actions have consequences? I feel like a lot of these people on TikTok think they're living in a vacuum and that this isn't real life. And then when it starts to seep out of the app and affect them in their real life, all of a sudden they're shocked. And they use these excuses like, oh, I didn't mean for it to get this big or this bad. Like, you have a public account, you put it on a platform where you know that shock value goes viral. Why else would you make it? You did the trend so you could go viral. All of this racism, ruining your own life, you did all of this for a drop of clout. Was it worth it? And there's racism on all social media platforms because unfortunately it's 2020 and humans are still trash, but on TikTok it's a lot more prevalent. Everything's more prevalent on TikTok. It's really sad because it used to be a fun thing. On the platform on TikTok, we also have pretty privilege. Now, we've seen this on other platforms like Instagram, which is all about aesthetics and stuff like that, but I thought TikTok was supposed to be about the content. You know what I mean? Like, every app to a certain extent has white privilege and pretty privilege, but there are people on TikTok who do the bare minimum. The bare minimum! Like, I deadass mean they just like look at the screen and like smirk or some shit, and then it's like millions of views. They do the bare minimum, but because they are white and attractive, conventionally, they pop off. And this is problematic for a lot of different reasons, especially for teenagers. When you're a teenager or a young adult, you are at your most fragile state of mind. A lot of teenagers are insecure, and seeing stuff like this is very very harmful. And the reason I say this is because it's on all different platforms, but like we spoke about earlier, on other platforms you can curate what you see. Like for me, for example, for a while I was following attractive women and attractive men on Instagram. Like, you know how people do that. But then eventually I was looking at all these attractive men with their six-pack abs, their clear skin, their sharp jawlines, and I just couldn't do it anymore. It was really making me feel like crap about myself. So I did the smart thing and I just unfollowed them and went on about my life. And then when I downloaded TikTok in January, I was seeing all of these attractive TikTokers on my For You page because that's what the platform pushes. Even though I don't want to see it, I want comedy, I want funny people, I don't want boring attractive people who do nothing. But that's what the platform be pushing. And I see these people, and then all of a sudden all these insecurities that I had started flooding back. I haven't really opened up about this. I did on my second channel a little bit. I was so insecure about my appearance that I started doing research onto different cosmetic procedures that I could get. I deadass was gonna get a procedure that was going to cost thousands of dollars that only got canceled because of quarantine. And then I came into my senses and I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that I was going to do that. The reason I bring this up is because I'm a 20-year-old person who is pretty confident within himself. I've worked through a lot. I'm a lot more mature than most people my age because of everything I've gone through in my life. And even this app and seeing this influx of attractive people shoved in my face affected me so much. I couldn't even imagine how much it is affecting the teenagers on TikTok. And I see this a lot with a lot of these TikTokers, you know, for example, the guys who post their shirtless TikToks or the girls who post their TikToks with their crop tops and they got the perfect hourglass waist. And you just read the comments on these posts and it's all these teenagers like, I feel so fat, or oh my God, I'm not gonna eat today, or oh my God, this, that, and the third. It's so sad to see that. Constantly having these things shoved in your face, like workout routines, what I eat in a day, skinny people doing these dances, conventionally attractive people. You have all of this content shoved at your face. And that's the thing is, when you're on TikTok, you are consuming such high volumes of content because the app is addictive and because of the nature of it. You're just swiping, you're watching, you can't curate it. Everything is at a more extreme level. So I just think for teenagers especially, or young people who have lower confidence and lower self-esteem, this is extremely harmful and damaging. Beyond just that, there are other more harmful and damaging things on the app, like there's different communities. There's, like I said, the eating disorder community. There's now this like new at-home drug community where people are like snorting nutmeg and like doing all this crazy shit. And the app isn't really doing anything about it. They're busy taking down people's content who really aren't doing anything wrong, but they're not taking down the content of people promoting drug use. What's not clicking? And then kind of my overarching issue with the app is like the way it is designed and how easy it is to go viral and the shock value and the this and the that. All these teenagers want to go viral so badly and are really compromising their morals and putting their reputation at risk in the real world for a bit of clout on TikTok. That's my issue with the app, because it's like going viral is not necessarily always a good thing. If anything, it's probably more of a curse than it is a blessing. We've seen this many times before, because really, what does it do for you? You know, especially if you go viral off of something like a shock value TikTok. What does that do for you? It's so frivolous. And this is what these teenagers are aspiring for. It's what they're wanting to do. You wouldn't do this in regular situations on other platforms, but for some reason on TikTok, just for a little drop of clout, you guys are exploiting yourself essentially. And you know, TikTok was all fun and games, but now we're really starting to see the repercussions of things, because everything just escalates and gets worse and worse. And the shock value is getting so intense that now people are being racist for shock value and losing their college approvals, you know? And there are people ruining their own lives for a drop of clout on TikTok. It's sad. And I think that we're in a couple of years going to see all these teenagers who went viral on TikTok for doing all these things, and we're just going to see the adverse effects of that. And then beyond that, it's like the people who are posting TikToks of their children, their young children, it's like they're exploiting their children. And you guys, if you've watched my videos on family vloggers, you know how I feel about that. And then all these other TikTokers like Charlie D'Amelio, he's like 15 years old, making millions of dollars. Where's that money going? Because it would be going to her parents, not her. And are her parents putting that money in an account for her? Are they exploiting her? There's no regulations for these things. Unlike child actors, there's no regulation for social media influencer children. And that's concerning. And it's concerning what this app is doing to teenagers. And this final thing isn't really specific to TikTok, but recently a really big TikToker by the name Emmylou, who I was a fan of, everyone was, she was really funny, got exposed for saying the N-word, which, are we even surprised at this point? Why does it seem like every single white American influencer, and I say this because I don't really ever see British influencers or Australian influencers getting exposed for saying the N-word, but for some reason all these American white influencers all have said the N-word in their past. What is going on in the States that y'all be saying the N-word? What's happening with that? And I think what made it even worse is that she was like deemed the queen of the barbs, aka Nicki Minaj's fan base, who Nicki Minaj is a black woman and the queen of the barbs is a white woman? Okay, not sure how that adds up. And she was making all these videos and she was woke and she was making videos about like, you know, oppression and like defending people of color, which is great, but it's like, why are you giving the voice to a white person when it should be given to a black woman? You know, like that's the inequality on the app. It's not making sense. But anyway, that's all I'm going to speak about today on the app. We have touched on the racism, the shock value, the sexualization of teenagers, the predatory behavior that can occur on there, the oversharing, how it can affect them in their real life, the need for a little drop of clout and virality. And yeah, I'm sure there's probably tons more that I could speak about. And if there's anything that I've missed, please let me know in the comments down below. Or if there's anything else that you would like me to touch on in a future video, please let me know. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and be sure to go ahead and subscribe and turn on the post notifications bell if you have not already. And as always, my social media is linked in the description down below if you would like to go ahead and follow me, as well as the link to my second channel. Be sure to go ahead and subscribe to me over there and check out my 2 new videos. And if you'd like to go ahead and cop any of my opinionated merch, the link to that is in the description as well. Alrighty guys, that's it for me in this video. I hope to see you in the next one, and I hope you're staying safe, sane, and healthy during these times. And as always, I hope that you have a great day or night wherever you're in the world. Bye!